So we're on the second session of working on catching red, and there's the beginning of some bother. And he is blowing into the pressure to turn left there, so I just helped him make it through. You saw that we worked on that last time. I need to be able to have him understand driving lines. Here we've got some curiosity, which I love. There's a lot more relaxation than there was last time. There's some licking and chewing right off the bat. So I know that my work last time, even though I spent all that time not catching him, really worked in my benefit, because here he's feeling curious, and a horse can't feel curious when they're afraid, so it's all good stuff. And you'll see him kind of teeter between curiosity and bother. When his neck is sort of archy like that, that's just a little bother, and I left him there because he reached out to me. And there he's looking and chewing. His neck is a lot more relaxed. I'm getting my hand ready to pet him before I get close to him, because what I don't want to do is get right up next to him and then lift my hand right up from his blind spot up toward his eye and really scare him, because I don't want to convince him that this is the scary thing he was worried about. And he's been caught a lot with treats, but never felt too good about being caught. So the thing about that is that the horse will take the treat, but they still don't feel relaxed, and then they get a confusing mixed signals between a positive reinforcement, which is the treat, and the negative reinforcement, which is the grabbing of the halter or clipping the lead line, which, even if you don't do it violently, it scares him. So he knows that he gets the treat, and he's just kind of got to get through the scary part, but it never leads to him feeling more comfortable about it. So that's why I'm spending this time working through this spot here where he says, I'm not comfortable with you being here. You can see that when I get toward his left shoulder where I'd have to halter him, he teeters back and forth between worry and relaxation, which is where I'm trying to get him to just know that this is just a super comfy spot for you. And there he's relaxing. So I love how quickly he's getting through these little sticky spots. And there again, I get my hand ready to pet him before I get up there. He tips his head away, but I want him to know this isn't a big deal, and that he can bring his head back and relax. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's starting to feel pretty good about that. He's not comfortable with me going under his neck yet. When I find a spot that he says no to, I will back off a little. And I kind of just want to push the edges of that button, not mash my whole fist on the button. So I need him to start to slowly expand his comfort zones, but I need to also back off a little bit when I find something that makes him uncomfortable, so that I don't convince him that this is something he doesn't want to participate in. And that's getting better. He's starting to feel more comfortable with that. But he still has a point where he says, I'm going to leave. And I just kind of dance back and forth with this little balance spot where I teeter back when he pulls away, but I'm asking him to see if he can stay a little bit longer. There, he's starting to feel more relaxed. If he can't stay, I'll just draw him back and start over again. There's the bother. There's a little curiosity. A little more bother. And they're the beginnings of relaxation. So you'll see that I wait for that cycle to go through and make its course, and for him to be a little more relaxed before I work my way through to touching him. It's easy enough to get him haltered, and there's many ways to trick the horse or capture the horse or use these little workarounds, but what I want him to do is to really feel comfortable about this whole process. And if I know that I can catch him with him feeling completely comfortable, then I know that in many other areas of his life, when he feels bothered, he'll have this foundation of working through bother and learning how to relax that I can depend on when I really need it. So if I don't take the time to fix this problem, which is a significant problem for him because it leaves him with a lot of worry and unconfidence and bother. And even when you're leading or doing groundwork, he's uncomfortable with you being in the spot. So it's worth my time to fix it here. Or sometimes people say it's hard to have that much patience, but really it's slower in the beginning, but things really accelerate a lot quicker because it is the fast way to go slow. And I know this from doing things too fast in the past where you have to break things down later, and it's a big deal and it takes up a lot of your time. So it's so worth it to slow things down, break them into steps, make it so the horse understands these little pieces, and things go so much better later on down the line. There's some relaxation. He's sort of struggling with me making that extra leap, but he's definitely making progress. And if you've read any of Steve Peters' work, he wrote Evidence-Based Horsemanship. He talks a lot about developing dendrites in the horse's brain. When a horse is learning, the more they learn, the easier it is to learn. So, this horse has a long history of sort of going along with things without feeling really relaxed, and so he's not able to form those connections in his brain as well as we hoped. So if I do this now, I can help him be a super learner later because the scaffolding is there for him for new information to stick to. But as I'm sure you know, when you're really nervous, you're not able to learn. You're just coasting by. So if I can get him to feel relaxed and to learn to try and to learn to find relief through trying, that's the ticket to being a super learner. It's kind of a fun topic. Relaxation is an important asset for a horse to have, but you don't want them to be so relaxed they aren't making any effort. So there's kind of this delicate dance between effort and relaxation, and that's what I'm looking for here, is for him to feel relaxed. And certainly it's hard for him to try something that he's not comfortable doing, which is, there you could see him kind of swirling around. He wants to make this extra leap, but he's struggling. And just the smallest amount of pressure there, you can see him kind of teeter back to some aggression, and just wait that out. And there he's starting to come through to feel a little more relaxed. But he goes through these cycles where he's worried, bothered, avoiding, a little bit confrontational, and that's when he finally makes it through. So those signs wouldn't be probably as available or showing as much in a horse who hadn't had as many bad experiences as him. So I kind of have to let those things happen and play out and let him work through his junk. I can be there to support him and guide him, but there are just some things that he has to work out. And once he worked through that, I was able to halter him pretty easily. And now I'm going to wait for him to have a little lick and chew, because a lot of times when he gets haltered, he gets pretty tense and he's sort of waiting for the other shoe to drop, and the lead line being snapped on is sort of just confirmation of his worst fears. Like, oh, I knew that was going to happen. I wanted the treat, but then came the scary thing right in my blind spot. Couldn't deal with it. Now I'm extra tense. There's a lick and chew. So as many repetitions of this experience being one where there were lots of positive aspects for him, the better. And then we're going to just repeat that. He's coming right up to me, which I love, and immediately relaxing. And I got onto his right eye, and he said, well, I can't deal with that. So he left. But then he comes right back. And I'm just working on drawing him here. there's the slow blinks that are the beginning of him being more relaxed. I really want to encourage curiosity as much as I can. I'm getting into this spot a lot quicker. He's getting much more relaxed a lot quicker. I can get my hand under his neck. And that process took much less time than last time. And again, the more I repeat this with lots of licking and chewing at all the pieces that bothered him, the better. So what we've been doing is I've got him in the round pen that I walk by a bazillion times a day. And my husband and I both, every time we walk by, just go in, draw him, get him a little curious, wait for him to lick and chew, retreat a little. And we've just been doing this for the whole week. Because he has so many experiences of being caught with tension that takes much more repetitions of something to undo a habit than it does to create one. It only takes a few times to create a habit. You can halter with tension a handful of times and you've got a habit of being caught with tension. So it certainly takes much more time to create a habit of being haltered with relaxation. And so I'm just waiting out a little lick and chew. There it is. And that's when I'm going to unhalter him. And as I walk away from him, what I'm hoping will happen is that I unhalter him and I back away and he draws toward me. That was exactly what I was hoping would happen.